What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to drink a Zevia energy drink and talk about what has been on my mind lately as it relates to parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, macronutrients, absorption, and the whole rest and digest process and how that all kind of fits in. So I just got done watching a video from Ben Pakowski, and he was talking about kind of like macronutrients and the importance of hitting your macros in tandem with what your body actually absorbs, which I think was an incredibly interesting discussion. It was only like 5 minutes long. I'll see if I can find that original video and link it in this video description. But it got me thinking, and I've got a lot of respect for Ben because, you know, we're both bodybuilders. We both come from a similar background in that regard, and he did really, really well with the sport. Always brought an amazing package and just killed it. So he knows what he's talking about, and he's taken it to the next level, and he's focused more on longevity and overall health now. You know, he's keto. He's on the cutting edge of a lot of stuff. So I've got a lot of respect for him as a bodybuilder and as a person. But he made a statement that really got me thinking, and it made a ton of sense. And that was, you know, he came from a background that was all about, you know, being the biggest person he could be and eating a ton of food, getting those calories in to reach your caloric and macronutrient goal for the day, come hell or high water. And that's kind of how I've done things in the past, following a traditional bodybuilding style approach. But then he argued the point of, independent of how many total calories you're getting in, you have to really pay attention to what your body's actually absorbing. And I mean, if you're eating 6,000 calories a day like I did, but my body's not absorbing all of those nutrients, what good is eating it? Because I mean, you're just going to excrete it at that point. It's not going to really do anything, good for you. So he dove into, parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, how in this day and age we're constantly in a sympathetic state. I mean, we wake up in the morning, we jump on our cell phone, we stay up and watch TV late at night, we train, we take a bunch of stimulants such as coffee all day long, and you're always triggering the sympathetic nervous system, so you're not really in a rest and digest state, which is going to affect your body's ability to absorb the macronutrients that you take in. And I've had a couple nutritional therapists on my podcast now, and one of the common trends I hear them talk about is the importance of like actually calming your body down prior to eating. And in doing that, you're able to have the right regulatory pathways for your stomach acids and whatnot. If you're in a sympathetic state, your body's not going to be able to produce the stomach acid necessary to break down the food, absorb those nutrients, etc., etc. So between the podcast, that clip of Ben Pakowski, and just all the knowledge I've heard prior to this, it's really got me thinking about the importance of not just having in the back of your mind, but also focusing on, rest and digest and stimulating the parasympathetic nervous state, so that the quality food that I'm actually eating is actually getting absorbed and used. That's going to make tracking macros and really honing that in much more effective and much more efficient, because I can look at what I'm consuming and know that my body's actually absorbing it. And, this is kind of independent in nature. I mean, it's hard to quantify how many of the macronutrients you're consuming your body's actually absorbing, but, how do you feel? Do you feel bloated? Do you feel, do you have like any GI upset? You have to kind of really hone in on that, and then actively take steps to calm yourself down prior to consuming food. And I'm like the worst at this because I live a busy life and I'm always going. I mean, I literally stand and eat my food more often than I sit and eat my food. And most of my food is pre-cooked, or a lot of it is anyways. So I'll have it in Tupperware, heat it up, grab it, be eating it as I'm running to the next thing that I've got to accomplish. So be farthest thing from resting and digesting. So since I'm eating about 2 meals a day right now, I'm really going to take an active step towards calming down prior to consuming that food. And I think I'm going to accomplish that by listening to like a 10-minute meditation clip, like a 10-minute meditation app on my phone prior to eating. So every time before I eat, I'll set myself a reminder, take 10 minutes, do the meditation, eat, and then go on about my day. I think, that would be 20 minutes a day of total meditation time, 10 minutes before each meal. And everybody's got time to do that, even if you think you don't have time to do it. The people that don't think they have time to do that are the ones that need to do it most. Ben Pikowski said that in his video. Tim Ferriss has said that in his video. A lot of successful people have said that very thing. So take the time, rest, and digest your food properly so that you can actually absorb the food you're consuming. And that seems like pretty obvious. Like you hear that all the time. You hear that over the years. But I don't know. Hearing him say that, coming from a similar background as me, it just really brings that to the forefront of my mind in tandem with what I've heard on my podcast with my podcast guest. So yes, that is something I'm going to be taking an active role in trying to improve in my life personally. I've got to figure out which meditation app I want to use. Headspace is one, Calm is one, and then Oak, I think, is another one that I played around with. But yeah, that's some tangible things I'm going to do prior to consuming food to be in more of a parasympathetic state than a sympathetic state prior to eating. Also, when I get my Oura ring in, that'll give me some good HRV data that I'll be able to relay to y'all as well. And I'll try and sync all this up in tandem and see if I can find some way to quantify any changes and keep y'all posted on that. So, without further ado, y'all have a good one. I will see y'all tomorrow.